그냥 나랑도 주성기 뭐 예, 그냥 쓰는 말라. 그냥 사자 전부 이렇게 나는 사자 전부 책하시 중에서 예, 나는 사주 순종 이거 말이 그다음 조진 사라하게 생각이 그런 다 좀.
Now, if we were truly about to familiarize with ourselves with the Dharma that leads to the liberation and awakening of Buddha thoroughly, then for the most part, one of the good ways of practice, one of the good methods of practice that we can employ are those of the Mahamudra system. And to that end, Rinpoche would like to teach us, or to let us know, a couple of the essential points of such Mahamudra instructions, which for this part, for that matter, are not included here in this text of Dharma. These are rather quotes of the great master and Mahasiddha of India, Saraha. So this word of Saraha, very roughly translated, means knowing or understanding the basis or the root. Knowing this, mind or mind nature is like space, or is like the sky. Which means to say that once we have understood what the actual basis, what the actual nature of that mind of ours is, then this becomes the very basis for our perceiving, for our encountering whatever it is that might come along. Then this mind of ours, or this perception of ours, becomes indeed sky-like or space-like in its vastness, because it encompasses everything that could possibly be. This is the meaning of the words of Saraha, and in this way it points to that which has to be recognized, that which has to be understood, which is the very basis of everything that we could possibly encounter, that we could possibly perceive. It continues, with nothing to be trained in, let go of all mental activity. It being the case that this mind nature of us is utterly ungraspable, there is simply nothing that we could possibly in any which way familiarize ourselves with. That being the case, we are advised to cease all such conceptual mental activity. It is not the case that our mind nature has a color or a shape, that it is white or red, or that it has a semicircular or circular shape. These are things that we could possibly habituate ourselves to, that we could get used to, that we could grasp onto. But since that is not the case, since however hard we analyze, however hard we look, we will never find such characteristics of this consciousness of ours, neither shape nor color, nor any other such characteristic, since there is nothing of this nature whatsoever to be grasped onto, to familiarize yourself with, you might just as well cease all such endeavors of grasping, of familiarizing. Therefore, let go of all mental activity. The next word of Saraha says, ordinary mind in its natural state. Ordinary mind in its natural state, or ordinary consciousness in its natural state. Ordinary consciousness here is another word or another name for the uncontrived natural mental state. This is for the most part what is being brought about, what we could possibly experience once we have joined, or once we have merged the mind stream of the teacher with our own, and then allow ourselves to simply rest naturally. To that end, one could practice the meditation technique that is commonly known as Guru Yoga. We would pray from the bottom of our hearts, one-pointedly to the teacher, we would receive the four empowerments of the teacher, and we would then imagine him or her, for that matter, to dissolve into light and melt into ourselves, thus merging our own mind stream with the enlightened awareness of the teacher. When we simply allow ourselves to rest in that state, that is all there is to be done. Nothing else whatsoever needs to be done. Simply allow your mind to rest naturally, to rest completely uncontrived, without any further ado in this state. This is exactly what it means when it says ordinary consciousness in its natural state. Resting in the natural state, unstained by contrived awareness, contrived perception, is how it goes on. Simply resting in that natural state without any further ado, that is what would be the ideal case scenario. This is how we should proceed. Of course, invariably, when we rest in this state, sooner or later a thought will occur. When that thought occurs, the only thing that needs to be done is to simply take note of it and leave it at that. There's no reason to suppress the thought, there's no reason to follow the thought, there's no reason to do anything whatsoever about that thought. However, what we could also do, and that would be a mistake that we put into our practice, we could start to think about whatever occurrence happens there in our minds. And we could start to wonder, we could start to doubt, is this really it? Is this the way it goes? Is this what propels me onwards upon the path, or possibly not? All of that would be contrived awareness, it would be contrived perception, it would not be natural. And this is, to the best of our ability, of course, to be avoided. The only thing that needs to be done, if done would even be a word that we could employ here, is simply to leave things as they are. Be aware, freshly awake, and simply take note of what happens within the mind, within this consciousness at any given moment. Nothing more, nothing less than that needs to